Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. We are in the Bhagavad Gita summary study program. We completed until 11 chapters. We are to read chapter 12 today. We'll discuss chapter 12. My name is Patita Pavana Balram Das. I am from the Bhakti team. Anybody new joining today? Okay, let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Can someone confirm if you can?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we are in the Gita Gyan, the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic scriptures. Reading Bhagavad Gita, we will learn, and understanding it, we'll understand all of the essence of the Vedas. Before we discuss any spiritual topics, we say a few prayers to seek the blessings of the Supreme Lord, mercy and His mercy of the Supreme Lord and His devotees. Please say along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमा ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे. So we are dedicating this program to ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Also, we are inspired to do this program by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. He is a senior member of ISKCON and is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. We are reading the glories of Bhagavad Gita and continuing with the chapter summary study. We'll do the same today. We will read one more glorification of Bhagavad Gita. Please say after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
गीताश्रयेऽहं तिष्ठामि
गीताश्रये
गीताश्रयेऽहं तिष्ठामि
गीता मे परमं गृह
गीता मे
गीता मे परमं गृहम्
गीतज्ञानं समश्रित्य
गीता ज्ञानं
गीतज्ञानं
य
समस्तस्य
त्रिलोकीं पालयाम्यहम्
त्रिलोक्यं
फलयामि.
पालयाम्यहम्
पालयाम्यहम्.
पालयाम्यहम्.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
I am present within the Gita, and the Gita is my supreme residence. Only by the knowledge of the Gita do I maintain the three worlds.
Thank you, Mataji. So Krishna is saying that he is present in Gita himself. If we want to, so the question will come up. Okay, when Kurukshetra war happened, Krishna was present with Arjuna for him to guide Arjuna. Uh, how where is Krishna now? We are in Kali Yuga. How can we get guidance from Krishna? Krishna is saying that he is in Bhagavad Gita. That's why if we just read Bhagavad Gita, we get the association of Krishna right away. We get Krishna talks to us immediately, and he will enlighten us. We read in chapter 11 that. Or chapter 10 that he is residing in everyone's heart, and within the heart he will destroy the uh, darkness of ignorance by the shining lamp of knowledge. So he will be there, and only by this knowledge Krishna is able to maintain these worlds, because three worlds are being maintained by this transcendental knowledge only. So we'll do a quick recap after chapter 11. Anyone remembers the name of chapter 11?
The universal form.
Jai Hari Bol. So in here, Arjuna says, Drastum ichchami te rupam. Arjuna is asking Krishna, I want to see your universal form. Then Krishna says, Yes, I will show you, but for that you need to have Divyam Dadamite Chaksha. I will also give you the divine vision. It's not possible to see the Supreme Lord with ordinary mundane eyes because our senses are limited. We have to get the divine vision, and that is possible only by Krishna's grace. And then he goes on to show where in the divine universal form, um, in the universal form of Krishna, the Vishwarupa, he could see the present, past, and future, and Arjuna can see that Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all the kings and the chief soldiers on either side, they are rushing into the mouth of all the different mouths of the universal form and getting crushed between the teeth. And the form is so fierce that he first of all offers obeisances, and then he says he's a little bit fearful of seeing that form, and he asks Krishna, who are you? What is your mission? And Krishna says, Kalosmi Lokakshaya Krit Pravruddho. I am time, the great destroyer of the worlds. I have come here to destroy all the people because there is so much burden on earth because of all the impious activities going on. Um, and like we said, it's not the population. Earth can handle any population, any amount of population. It is the impious or the adharmic activities, sinful activities that are done that would cause the burden on earth. And then what Krishna is after Arjuna offers all his obeisances, he glorifies Krishna, everything, and then Krishna says, he tells that I'm here to destroy all the worlds. I did everything. You just become nimitta matram. Bhava Savyasachi means if once we invite Krishna into our life, he will take care. Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. He will take care of our entire life. All we have to do is become an instrument. Means find out what is our skill or ability or talent and use it for Krishna consciousness, and Krishna will make us glorious. And then Arjuna then says that, oh Krishna, your form is so fearful. Now I want to see your Narayana form, Chaturbhuja, the four-handed Narayana form. Then Krishna shows his four-handed Narayana form. And also, then Arjuna says, I want to see now your two-handed form also after that. So then Krishna reveals his two-handed form, which is also not very easily visible. He's saying that that form of mine you're seeing is very difficult to behold, the two-handed form. Even the demigods are always seeking for an opportunity to see that form. And given that Arjuna has got that divine vision, the transcendental eyes, he was able to see that original two-handed form of the Supreme Lord right there standing before him. And how can we also see that?
There are some kids attending this too.
So how can we see that form? By Ananya Bhakti, unalloyed devotion. Only by undivided devotional service we can understand Krishna, who will also stand before us and reveal himself. And Krishna is saying that um, whoever engages in pure devotion service, they will be and free from all contaminations of fruitive activities, means karma kanda, mental speculation, gnana kanda. Then, if he works for Krishna only, making him the supreme goal, and friend, that is another important thing, friendly to all living beings. We can't just say that I am doing this Krishna consciousness, but I'm on, of course, if we really do devotion service, compassion will automatically be present in our heart, and it's like mutual. We do this, we automatically become kind. But just other processes are like, if we are in the beginning, if we are trying to take up Krishna consciousness, we should also remember that we have to be kind to everyone. Uh, and the more devotion service that we do, the more compassion and kindness we will get. Okay, so then we have also seen where Arjuna was glorifying that all the worlds become joyful just by hearing your name. And that's why we always chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. There is no difference between Krishna and his Krishna's name. In the material world, if we are thirsty, if we keep saying water, 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 our thirst will not go away. But because there is difference between the actual water and the word water. But in the transcendental world, everything is absolute. there is no difference between Krishna and his name. So if we are saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which means that we are associating with the absolute Krishna, absolute, which is Krishna and his form, everything. Okay, so we'll go to chapter 12. The name of the chapter itself is Devotional Service. And we will see, so this is in the middle sections we discussed, right? First 6 chapters is Karma Yoga. Last 6 chapters is Gnana Yoga. And middle 6 chapters is Bhakti Yoga. So total 18 chapters, middle 6 chapters is chapter 7 to 12. So today we'll conclude the middle 6 chapters, and please carefully go pay attention to this one, because this is kind of the core or the essence of all. Krishna summarizes everything in this chapter all about Bhakti Yoga. Okay, and how does this start? Because so far from chapter 7 to 11, Krishna was explaining all about Bhakti Yoga only, right? Even if you think about it, from in the first 6 chapters also, even though he was explaining all about the Karma Yoga, towards the end he sprinkles a little of Bhakti Yoga in there. For example, in chapter 5 he says, Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvalokamaheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gnatva mam shantim ruchati. Means, okay, even though you are doing karma sannyasa yoga, if you just understand my real position and work for me, and knowing that I am the supreme well-wisher, then you will have real peace. And last verse 6.47, he says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgate antaratma. Means of all the yogis who are doing this Ashtanga yoga processes, the one who meditates on my form, my pastimes, he is the topmost yogi. And of course, in chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, we have seen very clearly that Krishna is directly stressing Bhakti Yoga, Ananya Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti. Every chapter we have seen. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, means these devotees who have no other activities but to just engage in devotion service, they all have Tushyanticha, Ramanticha, discussing about the pastimes of Krishna. They always will be enjoying even in this present world. And the most confidential topic is the Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamatvam. Means by doing this devotional service, we get Susukam Kartamaviyam. We have happiness in this present life only. We don't have to leave this body, go somewhere to get happiness. That happiness will come automatically. And now let's see what this Ananya Bhakti is. And it starts off with a question from Arjuna. So Arjuna understands that there are essentially 2 types of transcendentalists in this world. One who is attracted to the impersonal form, and the second who is attracted to the personal form of the Supreme Lord. And we discussed in the earlier classes why impersonal form is also attractive to some people is because everything that has a form in this material world, we see with our own eyes, that it is temporary. There is nothing that we see that is going to stay permanent in this world. And so mind automatically tells that the Supreme Lord, being absolute, all-powerful, and he should not have these limitations that are there in the material world. So we think that since this material world, everything has a form, maybe in the spiritual world, there is no form. With that understanding, they do that. But also in Bhagavatam says that it is not wrong. Yes, because everything that in this material world has a form and it is temporary. So in the spiritual world, there is this Brahman, Brahma Jyoti, which is formless, all pervading, impersonal energy of the Supreme Lord. And that is permanent. It is all eternal. But at the same time, we can't draw a boundary around the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is all powerful. We cannot say that, okay, this is the mistake that some of the other religions also do. They also say that the God has no form or like that. But when you say God doesn't have this, you're drawing a boundary. Yes, the God cannot have form in the spiritual world. But who are we to draw a boundary around the Supreme Lord? The Supreme Lord is Achintya, means we cannot even conceive his greatness. So in the spiritual world, yes, he doesn't have a form and he also has a form, which are all the Vaikuntha planets that we see. So the question that Arjuna is asking is, of these two transcendentalists, what is your opinion, Krishna, in let's see what he's saying. Arjuna Vacha
Arjuna Uvacha.
Vacha
Evam Satata Yuktaye
Evam Sadatayuktaye
Bhaktastvām Paryupasate
Bhaktastvam Paryupasate
Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam
Echapyaksharam Avyaktam
Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha.
Tesham Ke Yoga Vittam.
Yoga
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
So he's asking, who is more perfect? The bhaktas who are Paryupasate. Keep this word in mind. We'll see that word later in this chapter. That who are always worshipping your personal form and as bhaktas, or who are doing worshipping the aksharam, means avyaktam. Aksharam means something that is beyond this. Kshara means senses. It doesn't have any senses or anything, and this is unmanifest. Anything that is unmanifest means that also belongs to the spiritual world. So Krishna, that is not material because it is not manifest yet. So Arjuna is saying that I'm not talking about something material. I'm asking specifically the two things that are transcendental, that impersonal Brahman or your personal form. Let's see what Krishna says. And Krishna, Sri Bhagavan Vacha,
Sri Bhagavan Vacha
Vacha
Maya Veshya Manoye Mam,
Maya
Maya
Veshya Manoyemam
Manoyemam
Nitya Yukta Upasate,
Nityayukta Upasate
Shraddhaya Parayotpetas,
Shraddhaya
Shraddhaya Parayopetas
Te Me Yukta Tamamataha.
Te Me Yukta Tamamataha.
Translation, anyone?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect.
Jai, thank you, Mataji. So what Krishna is saying is, he's giving an answer right away. He's not going to drag that or he asked a straight question. Krishna gave a straight answer. In my opinion, those who fix on their minds on my personal form and always engage in worshipping me with great transcendental faith, Shraddhaya, also remember this word, it will come later, are considered to be the most perfect. So anyone who has faith in the Supreme Lord and are always engaged in his worship, Krishna is giving the answer. They are more perfect. They are the most perfect. So of course, in the spiritual world, everything is perfect. But Krishna is saying someone who is attached to the form of the Supreme Lord, they are the most perfect. And let's see what Prabhupada explains more. In answer to Arjuna's question, Krishna clearly says that he who concentrates upon his personal form and who worships him with faith and devotion is to be considered the most perfect in yoga. For one in such Krishna consciousness, there are no material activities because everything is done for Krishna. A pure devotee is constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hears or reads books about Krishna, or sometimes he cooks prasadam and goes to marketplace to purchase something for Krishna, or sometimes he washes the temple or the dishes. Whatever he does not let a single moment pass without devoting his activities to Krishna. Such action is called full samadhi. Why Prabhupada explains this is, some people who are attached to the impersonal Brahman, they do this Ashtanga yoga by trying to control their mind by not thinking anything material. They try to think about this transcendental light or nothingness or something. And in the Ashtanga yoga, the last step is samadhi, which is like thinking of nothing material, thinking of only keeping the mind idle for at least 24 minutes or something without even any deviation. So that samadhi is possible even by doing devotional service because within your 24 hours of time, if you come to the stage where you are thinking of Krishna only, and initially when I started this Krishna consciousness process, I was thinking, how is it possible? We have so many material things, but as we can see, as we keep chanting, as we keep reading, more and it's Krishna within the heart knows that, okay, this person is putting some faith in me and he wants to know me more and more. So he will put us in the situation and the circumstances that we tend to think more and more about him. Previously, when you go to work, you get so engaged in work that you never think of Krishna, from my personal experience. But now, when it's the same work we are doing, but Krishna keeps coming into the mind frequently. Of course, to reach the level of perfection, we have to think 24 by 7. Of course, that is possible. We'll see how it is possible in this chapter. But what essentially is, the more and more you do at least a few services, the more you will keep thinking about Krishna. And once you are doing it, then they are the most perfect. So the devotees, they sometimes chant, they read books about Krishna, some his pastimes, like Bhagavad Gita, where he spoke, and Srimad Bhagavatam, where all his greatness is glorified through himself and his devotees. And like we said, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. When the devotees, they offer a little bhoga to the Supreme Lord and take it as prasadam. And whenever they go purchase something, they will think of, okay, what should I cook for prasadam? I mean, what should I cook for Krishna and take it as prasadam? And in the weekends, like I said in the previous chapters, right, we should make a habit of going to the temple at least once, like a Sunday. So even if we ourselves are not reading the books, we can go to the temple where there is Swadhyaya Yagna, means the dissemination of knowledge is going on, which is reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and we can hear that. There is no difference between hearing and reading. Hearing is the first step, with Shravanam, devotional service to start. And if we get any service like washing the temple or the dishes or the floor, we readily take it. And if we are doing it constantly, all these activities, it's not like sitting in one place, right? We are doing so many things, but it is still it is essentially the mind is focused on Krishna and his activities. So that is why it is called Samadhi. And once somebody achieves Samadhi, there is no more reason for them to stay here. They will go back to the transcendental world. And then Krishna now, he gave the answer, but he also gives additional information why he's saying that. But those who fully worship me worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth. By controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieves me only. So he's saying this Brahman is like, one thing we have to understand is, we are not saying that this world will not work. That will also work, but then ultimately they will achieve Krishna only. And those qualities, if you see the things they are doing, they are also essentially what the Bhakti Yoga also does, which is controlling their senses. And they are equally disposed to everyone. They Pandita Samadarshinaha, like they see everyone equally, and they are engaged in the welfare of all, and at last they achieve Krishna only. But why then he's saying it is most perfect is, we'll see in the next verse, but let's see what Prabhupada also says. Those who do not directly worship the Supreme Godhead Krishna, but who attempt to achieve the same goal by the indirect process, also ultimately achieve the same goal. Sri Krishna. After many, many births, Bahunam Janmanamante Gnanaman Mam Prapadyante. We read that, right? After many, many births, a man of wisdom seeks refuge in me, knowing that Vasudeva is all. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sahamatma Sudarlabaha. When a person comes to full knowledge after many, many births, he surrenders unto Lord Krishna. If one approaches this Godhead by the method mentioned in this verse, he has to control the senses, render service to the everyone, and engage in the welfare of all beings. It is inferred that one has to approach Lord Krishna, otherwise there is no perfect realization. Often there is much penance involved, but only full surrender involved before one fully surrenders onto him. In order to perceive the super soul within the individual soul, one has to cease the sensual activities of seeing, hearing, tasting, working, etc. Then one comes to understand that the super soul is present everywhere. Realizing this, one envies no living entity. He sees no difference between man and animal because he sees the soul only, not the outer covering. But for the common man, this method of impersonal realization is very difficult. So see, Of course, both of the processes will give liberation, but then this process of impersonal realization is very hard because you have to do so much penance. You have to leave the family. You cannot just say that I will be, and then you have to be celibate. You have to control your senses. You have to close your eyes half, half close your eyes. If you open your eyes completely, all the material things that are happening around will keep your mind agitated. If you close your eyes completely, Prabhupada jokingly says that the yogi will fall asleep. So that's why it is recommended that you have to keep the eyes half closed, point at the tip of the nose, do so many penances, and it is a difficult process. And that's what Krishna is also saying. Kleshodhika tarastesham
क्लेशोऽधिका तरस्तेषाम्
avyakta saktat chetasam
अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम्
avyakta hi gatir dukkham
अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम्
दुःखं
dehavadbir avapyate.
देहवद्भिरवाप्यते।
अवाप्यते
Translation, anyone?
For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal features of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied.
Those who are embodied means we are all embodied. We are all encaged. Our soul is encaged in the body, right? The subtle and the gross body. So for those following this impersonal feature is very difficult. Advancement is troublesome because we have seen like people who leave their family, go to Himalayas. They say they come back into the society and do some social service. They say that, oh, I got enlightened. But yeah, if you got enlightenment and you got the great pleasure, why you came back to the society? They say that I came to deliver the people, but they give all kinds of things. But essentially, even though they got that kind of enlightenment, doesn't stay long because it is the impersonal feature. A human, a living entity, or even the soul, we always seek relationship. Only if you are sitting in yourself in one room, you will get bored after some time. Some people might be getting bored right away. Some people might get bored after 1 year. Same thing. Individual, the soul cannot derive its happiness by being aloof or by being separate from the Supreme Lord. It has to have that relationship. That's why this process of impersonal realization is very difficult and it doesn't stay for long. And then Krishna continues to say about the devotees who meditate on or who do the worship of the Supreme Lord through the personal form. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pratha, for them I am a swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. See here, it is not that process is very long, but Krishna is saying that if someone comes to that devotional service without deviation, he is going to deliver them swiftly. It is mentioned this whole material ocean is like his material world is like a vast ocean, and everyone here is trying to swim across it. But even if you are okay, let's read Prabhupada's translation. What I was going to say is what is already what Prabhupada wrote, and I read from there only. Anyone wants to read the purport?
The purport of this verse is that a devotee does not need to practice Astanga Yoga in order to transfer his soul to the spiritual planets. The responsibility is taken by the Supreme Lord Himself. He clearly states here that He Himself becomes the deliverer. A child is completely cared for by his parents, and thus his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee does not need to endeavor to transfer himself by yoga practice to other planets. Rather, the Supreme Lord, by his great mercy, comes at once, riding on his bird carrier Garuda, and at once delivers the devotee from material existence. Although a man who has fallen in the ocean may struggle very hard and may be very expert in swimming, he cannot save himself. But if someone comes and picks him up from the water, then he is easily rescued. Similarly, the Lord picks up the devotee from his material existence. One simply has to practice the easy process of Krishna consciousness and fully engage himself in devotional service. Any intelligent man should always prefer the process of devotional service to all other paths. Simply by chanting the name of simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
A devotee of the Lord can approach supreme destination easily and happily, but this destination cannot be approached by any other process of religion.
Jai, thank you, Prabhuji. So see here, the other yoga processes, we have to put our own endeavor to cross. But we know that if in an ocean, if somebody falls, even if they are an expert swimmer, they cannot cross that, they cannot survive. But if someone comes and picks them up, then they will be saved. So in the Bhakti Yoga process, we are not relying on our own endeavor. We might be we don't even have that yogic power, I guess. So we might people who do this Ashtanga yoga, they get a lot of powers and all the siddhis and nidhis. But we don't have to have all those things. We might be just a person who doesn't know how to swim also. But the moment we say seek the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, he is going to come and deliver us. We are not relying on our effort. We know that we cannot swim in this material world. We cannot face the challenges that are coming around us. But we know there is one person who is going to save us. And if we surrender onto him, he is going to come. And the analogy given is a child. We discussed also in previous classes, right? A girl who was in the flight was always she was not panicking when the flight was going through turbulence because it was her father who is the pilot. Same thing. We know that it's the Supreme Lord, the Krishna, who is our father, that who is going to take care of us. Just like a child knows that his parents are going to take care, his or her position is always secure. They don't even worry about anything. So the devotees really don't. One thing, once we come to Krishna consciousness, is the first thing that will go away is the fear and anxiety. So before Krishna consciousness, we have so much anxiety. Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What? So all those things, as and when we start doing more and more devotional service, we see Krishna's hand and we come to the realization that Krishna is there, his energy is there, is protecting me always. And we really don't worry about anything. No anxieties, no fears. And that is easily achievable by everyone. It's not that someone has to go through, spend so many lifetimes. We just have to take the process of chanting that we discussed, right? The first step is the step very hard, but if we all with faith take that first step by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we will be delivered. And now Krishna is saying that what is that Ananya Bhakti, the unalloyed devotion service? How we can, Krishna is saying that how a devotee can ensure that the Lord comes and rescues him. Let's say if we really like someone, right? And if they call us and say that I have a problem, will we go and help them or we will not go and help them?
We will.
We will go and help them. But if we really don't like them, do we go and help them? We generally try to avoid, right? Because
Yes.
yeah. But let's say, yeah, but some people still go and help. That's a good, that's nice compassion for them. But in general, and then let's say if we know someone who is in trouble, but they don't ask us, we come to know that they are in trouble. Will we go and help them or not?
Yes.
Yes, same thing. So all we have to do is do some chanting, and we don't have to call Krishna also. If we are just engaged in the service of Krishna, Krishna automatically knows, he being sitting in the heart of everyone as Paramatma, then he immediately will come and rescue because we are relying on no one else but Krishna only. Because we'll see why if we do that, Krishna will come and rescue. But that Ananya Bhakti means the unalloyed devotion we have been discussing from the last 5 chapters. Krishna is saying, what is that Ananya Bhakti? Maya, Mayeva mana adatsva,
Mayeva mana adastva
Mayi buddhim niveshaya,
Mayi buddhim niveshaya
nivashishyasi Mayeva,
Nivasishyasi mayeva
ata urdvam na samshayaha.
Ata urdhvam na samsayaha.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always, without a doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So basically, it is the same thing, which is we have to fix our mind always on Krishna and engage all our intelligence. Means like anything that we do, we have to think that, okay, is it going to be helpful in Krishna consciousness or not? And if we do that, without a doubt, he will live in Krishna only, which is Krishna is going to come. Let's say if we cannot do that, then what? Ata chittam samadatum
Ata chittam samadhatum
na shaknoshi mayi stiram
na shaknoshi mayi stiram
abhyasa yogena tato
abhyasa yogena tato
mam ichchaptum dhananjaya.
mam ichchaptum dhananjaya.
Translation, anyone?
My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me.
So that is the ultimate goal we were saying, right? Where if we are constantly thinking of Krishna, only Krishna will come and rescue. But with so many things that we have, or responsibilities, or relationships, which are not, which the material relationships, how can we always think of Krishna? Then Krishna is saying, okay, if you think that you cannot keep your mind fixed on me always, then at least follow the Bhakti Yoga process. Bhakti Yoga process or Abhyasa Yoga or Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness, all is saying that we have to engage in regulative principles. It's also called Vaidhi Bhakti, means by picking up the process, which is chanting and sitting here and chanting and doing anything devotional service like prasadam, cooking, boga, and everything. All those principles of Bhakti Yoga, we will then gradually develop a desire to attain me, and then we will one day reach the level of Ananya Bhakti, means always thinking of Krishna only. Okay, now Krishna is helping answering this to or giving this information to Arjuna, but is also helping us. There are so many people who say that, okay, Bhakti Yoga, I'm not ready, or then like that. Then Krishna is saying that Rupam Abhya Rupam Abhyase api asamartosi
Rupam abhyase api asamarthosi
Matkarma Paramo Bhava
matkarma paramo bhava
Madartam api karmani
madartam api karmani
Kurvan Siddhim Avapsyasi.
kurvan siddhim avapsyasi.
Translation, anyone?
If you
If you, sorry,
Go ahead.
if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage.
So Krishna is saying that, okay, if you cannot follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, then at least do work for me, which is called Krishna Karma or Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is helping propagate Krishna consciousness. If you see some devotees are already engaged in Bhakti Yoga, if you help them, then it is also Bhakti. Like it is also Krishna consciousness, means we are helping it propagate. So how some of the examples are, like if the devotees are doing book distribution, you can also help them and also participate in book distribution. Then Prabhupada explains that if we have any endeavor in this material world requires time, money, and energy. If we have time, go and help them. If we have energy, go and help them. If we have money, then give some donation to Krishna conscious activities like that. So anything that we do for which propagates Krishna consciousness comes under Krishna karma, and Krishna is saying that that will make us come towards a perfectional stage. Let's say we don't have that ability, or we cannot do that, or we don't want to do that, whatever reason. Then Krishna is saying that ataitadapi asaktosi
अतएतत् अपि असक्तोऽसि
kartum madhyogam ashrita
कर्तुं मद्योगम् आश्रिताः
sarva karma phalatyagam
सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं
tatah kuru yata atmavan.
ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्.
Translation. Anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated.
So what Krishna is saying is, if you don't want to do my work, and if you are attached to the work that you are doing, then at least give up the results of your work. Means the things that you get. We can engage in social service, charity, serving the community, nation, etc. When COVID was happening, so many people come out and help, and so many people, they donate money for causes like old age homes, like orphanages, and all. So even if you cannot, if you think that okay, I'm not in that stage where I can dedicate my life for Krishna consciousness, at least sacrifice the results that you are getting, and you will see the difference. Because if you do something that is, if you are sacrificing something that belongs to you, all our hearts have been like stone, like very hard. They try to melt because we are doing something without any expectation in return. And we will see that whether we do charity or and like I said, we should not expect something. If we do, people when they do charity, they put their big names. But try to do without any attachment to the results, sacrifice the results, just do some charity without even telling anyone, and you will see that you start feeling more compassion towards other living entities. Let's say if we cannot do that sakama karma also, the sacrificing results, then what Krishna is saying is, Shri Bhagavan Vacha,
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Shreyo hi gnanam abhyasaj,
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासाज्
Jnanadhyanam vishishyate,
ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते
Dhyanat karma phalatyagas,
Dhyanat
ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागस्
Tyaga chantir anantaram.
त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्.
Translation, anyone?
If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
Jay, thank you. So what we can understand is, if we cannot do sakama karma, then at least we have to do dhyanam, meditation. And if we cannot do dhyanam, then we have to at least engage in gnanam, which is cultivation of knowledge. So this is what Krishna is saying. Let's go. So what Krishna is saying is, run towards Krishna by doing the bhakti yoga process. If you cannot run, then at least walk towards Krishna by doing this Krishna karma or the Nishkama karma yoga. And if you cannot walk, then at least crawl towards Krishna by doing this Sakama karma, like the charity activities or dhyanam, jnanam, like that. But what he's saying is, don't just sit or sleep in the lap of Maya. We have all been here. Take one step. If you cannot run, just walk. If you cannot walk, at least crawl. Get up and do something. Then one day we'll be able to fly towards Krishna with the Ananya Bhakti process. Okay, so see, Krishna is basically, this is extension of the yoga ladder also. In the yoga ladder, we already know, right? We have seen that most of the people are in the animalistic life without any goal or any concern for self-realization. Then the next level is the karma kanda, means or the gnana kanda, which is they do something for their own gratification, sense gratification. They go to the Supreme Lord, or they go to the temple and ask Krishna or the Supreme Lord or the demigod, give me this, I will give you that. That kind of transaction. It is still for their own benefit only. They are asking the Lord. Then the next level is called the Sakama Karma Yoga, which is they have attachment to the work that they are doing, but they are okay to give up the results. But if there is no attachment for the work also, then they come to the Nishkama Karma Yoga process. And if they are doing everything for Krishna and following the regulative principles, that is called Bhakti Yoga. And the goal of Bhakti Yoga is to always think of Krishna, and once that stage is reached, we'll be able to. But if you see, we don't have to spend one lifetime doing dhyanam, one lifetime doing jnanam, one lifetime or multiple lifetimes doing this. We are in this lifetime and we have the great opportunity. We are actually lucky that this Hare Krishna movement is happening at this time, because it is predicted for the next 10,000 years. This is a golden period where so many people will be able to achieve liberation so easily. So right now we are here. We don't have to go through this. We can jump directly into here by starting to chant and reading Bhagavad Gita and everything. So that's why we are stressing that she is running with her chanting bag. We all have to run towards this now using all of you get the chanting bags and the chanting beads and start chanting. Then we'll see the difference in our life. It's not like um, someone tells and you have to blindly believe. You you need to take at least a few steps to see that yourself. What and Krishna is continuing. Advesta sarva bhutanam
Advesta
Advesta
sarva bhutanam
bhutanam
maitra karuna evacha
My
maitra karuna
maitra
evacha
karuna vevacha
nirmamo nirahankaraha
nirmamo nirahankaraha
samadukka sukha kshami
samadukka sukha kshami
Sham
santushta satatam yogi
santushta satatam yogi
yatatma drudha nishchayaha
Yata
yatatma drudha nischayah
मय्यर्पित मनोबुद्धिर्
my
mayyarpita manobuddhi
यो मद्भक्त समे प्रियः.
Yom
yomat bhakta same priyah.
Translation anyone?
One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who doesn't think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me.
So see what Krishna is saying. Why Krishna is going to come and rescue? Because that person is very dear to Krishna. If someone is very dear to us, our friend or child or some parent or someone, we know that they are in trouble, we immediately go and rescue them. So same thing, we are all troubled by this material world, but the question might come up again and again. Okay, why is Krishna not coming and helping automatically? Because the impetus is there, right? The first impetus for us coming here is we told, oh Supreme Lord or my Father, I don't want to enjoy, I don't want to stay with you. I want to enjoy myself independently. Don't come and do anything. I want to do that. We all forget that thing that we said. But the fact that we are in the material world means that all of us did that. All of us independent wanted to enjoy independently. That's why we're in this material world. And unless and until we do a little turn towards the Supreme Lord and say, Lord, please come and save me, or please come and help me. That is the first step. That one thing that Krishna is waiting. When are you going to call me? When are you going to turn towards me? You told me not to come. You wanted to enjoy independently. Why are you not calling me? Um, there is a story of Gopakumar. There is a person called Gopakumar. He spends he goes through all these yogic processes. He goes to higher planets by doing pious activities in few lifetimes. Then he is not satisfied there, and again he falls down to the material earthly planet. Um, what is that? Kshine Punye Martyalokam patanti, vishanti. So we will fall, he falls down and he goes to hellish planets. He knows the difference. And then he understands that we have to, he takes up this yogic process like karma yoga, gnana yoga, dhyana yoga. He goes to Brahma Jyoti. He doesn't get what he wants. He again patanti ada. And even from Brahma Jyoti, he again falls down into this material world. Again, he does so many things and he then goes to Vaikuntha planets. He goes to all Vaikuntha planets. Then something is missing because even in the Vaikuntha planets, it's the different moods, right? In the Ayodhya, it is the mood of Aishwarya, opulence or respect. Maryada Purushottam is what is called Lord Ram. But only in the Goloka Vrindavan, it is pure love. That is, Krishna will, it is. So he understands that even in Vaikuntha planet, he doesn't get what he is looking for. And finally, when he goes to Goloka Vrindavan, so Krishna is playing with his. So whatever we see in the what happened in this earthly planet in Vrindavan when Krishna was here in Dwapara Yuga, those pastimes constantly happen in the spiritual world. So Krishna is playing with his other Gopa boys, and in the far he sees one boy walking towards him, and Krishna turns toward boy and he starts running towards him. And as soon as, and of course, the Gopakumar also runs towards Krishna. And as soon as they reach, they hug each other. And Krishna becomes so happy. In that happiness, Krishna faints actually. Then everybody around him is shocked. How come Krishna how was he able to faint? Then after some time, he comes to back and he says, "Oh Gopakumar, I have been waiting for you for millions and millions and millions and millions of lifetimes. Why it took you so long to come towards me?" And that is not an exam story of one Gopakumar. It is the story of each and every one of us. Krishna is waiting. We told Krishna, I don't want to stay with you. I want to enjoy independently. We came here. We can't blame God for the things happening in this material world in our life. People quickly come to the conclusion, why is God doing this to me? Why? No, ma'am, no, sir. Like, God is not doing. We independently came to this, and I was the same person also. So don't think that I'm telling anyone, but I was in the same boat before, where we blame God everything. Why is God doing this? Why he put so much effort? Why no results? I did not do anything to this person, but why is he causing trouble? But the thing is, it's not one lifetime we have to look at. We have been in this material world for millions and millions of lifetimes. That peace will not be there. We might do some work and get the desires, but ultimate peace will only come when we turn towards the Supreme Lord and say that. And in this, what Krishna is saying, we also have in the Vedic mantra, right? What is that? Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti 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 means this material world is asat, means temporary, impermanent. And from asatoma sadgamaya, from asat, go to the sat, to the transcendental world. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya, this material world is full of ignorance. It's a dark place of ignorance. From tamas, go to jyotir, means the transcendental the knowledge or the brightness or the effulgence or what is the opposite of ignorance is the transcendental knowledge. And the third one is Mrityorma Amrutam Gamaya. Whoever is born in this material world, they have to go through this cycle of birth and death. Amrutam means eternal, means when we go to this spiritual world, it is always eternal. And by doing this, what is we are achieving? Santi, Santi, Santi. We are going to achieve that peace, peace, peace. So that's the formula for peace. We cannot stay here and think that why is my life not peaceful? Because we are in the wrong place. And Krishna is continuing. Samah shatrau cha mitre cha
Samasatro mitre cha
tata manapamanayoho
तथा
tata mana
मानापमानयोः
Samanayoho.
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु
sitoshna sukha
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु
dukkheषु
समसंग विवर्जितः
samasanga
समसङ्गविवर्जितः
vivajana
तुल्यनिन्दा स्तुतिर्मौनी
Tulya
तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी
mauni
सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित्
सन्तुष्टो येन
Tulya
केनचित्
yenakrit
अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिर्
अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिर्
Bhaktiman me priyo naraha.
Bhaktiman me
me
priyo
priyo
naraha.
naraha.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me.
So he's elaborating again, like who is that dear person who is also equal to friends and enemies? He is equipoised. Krishna says, right, who is just tolerate Arjuna in chapter 2. He says, this because you have a body, you have all these dualities in your life, in this material world. Just tolerate them and engage in my service. Soon, very soon, they will all be gone away. And free from contaminating association. We should always engage with. So there is a research that was done, like what our nature is defined by 95% by the company we keep. So it is very important that we always associate, even though we are going through this Bhagavad Gita program. If we want to continue this, we have to seek out for the people who are doing this seriously. But if we go back to the old materialistic association, going to the bar, pub, restaurants, or like wasting our time there, then again our mind will forget whatever activity that we did. So please go. That's why I'm saying that every Sunday make a habit of going to the ISKCON temple when the Bhagavad Gita class is going on. Go there, sit for the class, have prasadam and come. Nothing. You don't have to do any activity. Sit and listen to the lecture, have some prasadam, take the darshan of the deities and come back. We will see the difference. And finally, he is closing the chapter with saying that who is the very, very dear devotee? Ativa Priya Bhakta. Ye tu dharmamrutam idam
Ye tu dharmamrutam idam
yatoktam paryupasate
Yes.
yatoktam paryupasate
Paripasate
shraddadana matparama
sraddhadhana matparama
parama
bhaktaste ativa me priyaha.
bhaktaste
bhaktaste
ativa
ativa
priyaha me
priyaha.
priya.
Translation in one.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me.
So see, the paryupasate means the worship. We have to worship the personal form of the Lord. What is the requirement? Shraddha. Every time this word Shraddha is coming, whether we are reading Bhagavad Gita, if only Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will reveal the real knowledge. If we accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord, at least theoretically, with that faith we have to have. So that faith is the first step. Even in the 9 stages of devotion service, the first step is Shraddha. Then Sadhu Sangha means associating with the devotees. Then bhajana kriya. Then if we are doing more and more like service, like chanting and all, we will be able to make progress. And we know there is a pastime of Shraddha, pastime of Shakti Gopal that will help us understand what Shraddha is. There was a Brahmana and he goes to a pilgrimage. He goes to a temple, a place where there is Krishna there. And he was very old, and there is one other young person who comes and he helps that old person very much. The old Brahmana, he was so impressed with the young person, and he says that I am looking for a person like you to marry my daughter. You are so eligible, you are so kind, you are so compassionate, you have all the good qualities. So please come to my home village. This is my village, and I will have my daughter marry you. And the Brahmana, he thinks that it happened in the temple. So he thinks that it is Krishna who might have arranged that whole thing where the Brahmana told. So he takes that as Krishna's mercy, and after a few couple of, it's in older days, going from one village to other, it takes long time. So after a few days or weeks or months, he goes there and he meets the Brahmana. Meanwhile, when the Brahmana goes home and tells that I met this wonderful person in the temple there, he's so kind. I told that I will have uh, my daughter marry, and his son, who is the girl's brother, He says, no, I am looking for opulent people, like wealthy people. How can you bring some person who doesn't have any money or anything just because he has good nature? I'm not going to allow. Then everybody in the family, I mean, the girl was okay, right? But mainly his brother, he says that you cannot do that. And with pressure, the Brahmana agrees. Then after a few weeks, when this young person comes, he says that you said you come and meet you, and you told that you will give your daughter. Then the Brahmana says, "Who are you? I never promised you anything. Like, go away from there." But because the Brahmana thought that it was Krishna's arrangement, he says that you told that you promised me in front of Gopal, like the devotee, the deity name. I think I forgot. It's Gopal deity. Gopalji, and then the Brahmana says, no, then go and bring Gopal and have him as a witness. This Brahmana is or this young Brahmana, he has so much faith in the Supreme Lord that he goes and he goes in front of Gopalji and says, "Oh Lord, you were there as witness that, but this other old Brahmana, he's going back on his word. I need your help, and I thought this was your arrangement. That's why I thought that I'm going to marry her. So please help me." Then Gopalji says, "Okay, where do you want me to come? I will help." From the deity he speaks. Then he says, "Come after me, and then I will to this village. On one condition, he says that don't turn back. I will be behind you always." So the young Brahmana, he walks, and then he comes to the village outskirts, and he starts all the people who were initially spending him off from the village, that this person is liar, like that, because they are supporting the old Brahmana. Then he got a little worried. Okay, is Gopal really behind me, or because I'm going to face all these people again? And he turns back. Then Krishna stops right away there, and his deity is right there, and all the people pray. And meanwhile, this the old Brahmana and his family listens to what's happening, and they all assemble, get there, and then he says, "See, Sakshi, this Gopalji came with me. Now you can ask." So all the villagers asked, "Did old Brahmana promise to give his daughter to this young Brahmana?" Gopalji says, "Yes." Then their marriage happens. So basically, then from that point onwards, this Gopalji deity is called Sakshi Gopal. This deity is still there in India, where originally this deity was established in a faraway place, but then the deity is there, and it is so heavy that one person cannot carry. So, what we can understand from this is, it's all in our faith. If the stronger the faith, the more we see Krishna. And we just have to have swalpam a little faith. If we take a few steps, our faith will keep on increasing and increasing, and to a point that we'll be able to talk to Krishna, we'll be able to see Krishna. This might all appear to be uh, some people who don't know that think that, oh, these are all, how can we believe that? Unbelievable, these guys are. But only the person, like I think in the previous class, it was mentioned, right? It has to come for our own self-realization, but it will happen. We have read so many chapters, we have seen so many things. Nothing can happen by itself. There is the superior power that is all making sure that everything is in a perfect balance in this material world. And we have to take the what is written in Bhagavad Gita and put an effort. So that's what I say, that we have to put a little effort and we have to bring Krishna into our life. Then only we can achieve peace. And we'll see what is the glories of the chanting of the holy name, because that's what we always recommend. Do the chanting. That is a prescribed method for this Kali Yuga. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatranyata. Jaya Namadeya Muni Vrunda Geya He.
जय नामधेय मुनि वृंद गेय हे
Janaranjanaya Param Ak- Aksharakrite.
जनरंजनय परम
Param
सरकृते
Tvam Anadarad Api Manag Udiritam.
Tvam anadarat api manag udiritam
Nikilograt tapa patalim vilumpasi.
nikilogra tapa patalim vilumpasi.
Anyone wants to read the translation? This is from the Krishna Nama Astakam verse 2. Yeah, go ahead.
O Holy Nama, O name sung by the sages, O transcendental syllables that bring bliss to the people, even if you are spoken only once, and even if you are spoken disrespectfully, you at once remove the many harsh sufferings of everyone.
Jai, thank you. So what is even we don't have to even chant with focus. Even if we say the holy name without any respect, also it also removes our suffering. So if we then imagine, then if we do it with faith and devotion, how many millions of lifetimes of karma baggage will be wiped off. So that is the power of the holy name. Any questions before we close today's session?
Prabhuji, what is self-situated means?
Self-situated means situated in the own self within. So it came up in the one of the Ashtanga yoga process, right? The situated on the impersonal. Which
Yes,
verse?
sir. If you don't want to be in Krishna consciousness, then give up all the results of your work to me. Next to
Yeah.
this.
So this one is sakama karma, means people are have an attachment to their own self and they have their own satisfaction. Because if you take poets or singers or writers or even great like popular people in this society who have a lot of talent, they are so much attached to their work and they seek satisfaction by their own self by doing the work. They are not worried about results. Um they sacrifice the results. If they get glorification, they will be happy. If they don't get glorification, they will not be uh, disheartened. They will still be satisfied always. But the problem they have is they're attached to their own work. They want to be the same musician life after life, so they have to be stuck in this world. Is that clear, Mataji?
Yeah. So they gave up all the results of the work and they're not expecting anything. That's what,
So
right?
there are two things, right? There is work and the results that come from work.
Okay.
So all of us have attachment to both. We work and we also want the results to happen in one way.
Yes.
We feel happy if the results happen in our one way, and if we feel disheartened if we don't get. First level is sakama karma, means we are okay with not getting the results what we want. We just say that I'm going to work, and whatever results that come, I'm satisfied with that. So that is the sakama, means that attachment to work is there, which is I still want to work in this company, I still want to be a musician, I still want to do this. That attachment to work is there, but the attachment to result is not there.
Okay.
So that's why it is called sakama, means attachment to kama. And the
Okay.
next level is the nishkama karma, which means that you also don't have the attachment to the work. You are just working for Krishna or Vishnu. That is called yajna. Means that you don't even have any attachment. You want to be a musician. Yeah, you can do musician. If the Krishna requires you to, if there is someone who is looking for washing the pots in the temple, you go right away. You don't feel like, oh, I am a Brahmana, I am a musician, I have status. You just jump in whatever work that you do, if it is Krishna's work. You don't have any attachment for what work you are doing.
Okay. I got it now, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So the word says sakama, right? Sakama means you have a little kama. Sakama, what the kama is for the karma. And the nishkama means there is no kama towards the karma itself.
Okay.
Any other questions? So basically, I would like to say this. Basically, please take one step towards Krishna consciousness, and it will change all of our lives.
Yeah, Prabhuji, one question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Actually, that and in the verse, actually, 1 second, I will tell you. Um, yeah, in that 6 and 7, it says, Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. 12, 6, 7.
Yep.
The seventh one. So, Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. Like, I deliver them, like those who fix their mind on me, I deliver them from this mrityu samsara sagarat. Like this, from this ocean of samsara, the like birth and
Yes.
death. So, but whereas for the Akshara Yoga, who worships the impersonal, he didn't say that. So
Exactly.
he says, he like they will reach me. So actually, I mean, every time we are only asking help from Krishna. So why can't instead of without taking his help, why can't we lessen the burden of Krishna and then worship the impersonal? Means not only worship in person, but see him everywhere, like impersonal or personal, whatever it is.
Yeah, so that again goes back to the understanding. We try to show that we know better than Krishna, right? Because Krishna, we think that God will have burden if we is taking care of living entities. If we did not want to care for the living entities, he would not have created this material world. And we think that something is going to be burden of Krishna, but Krishna means that we are thinking that we are creating a boundary again. Okay, so there is a level for burden for Krishna. Adding one more living entity to that will be more burden. No, God is all powerful. He doesn't have any burden. And in fact, actually, the more he likes to actually engage with more and more living entities. The example we saw from Gopakumar, right? Same thing. He's waiting for us. He is waiting for us to turn towards him and say. Of course, if we take the process of our own endeavor, he doesn't say anything. We can reach him by also meditating. So there are two forms of Ashtanga Yoga. One, meditating on the nothingness, which will take you to Brahmajyoti. But if you are meditating on the Narayana form within the heart, that will take you to Vaikuntha planet. But if we just rely on Krishna, he is immediately going to come and he will feel very happy. And because he's saying that in the later verses, right? Same bhakta tamo priya. Means that person is very dear to me. Okay, like the same example we were discussing. If somebody who is very dear to us is in trouble, do we feel any burden helping them? Not at all, right? We feel happy that I am there for them. So same thing, Krishna will feel happiness trying to help us rather than feeling as burden. So we should not think that way.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. The 12.10 actually, that sloka is slightly different from what is there on the Veda base. Rupam Abhyasi is much more. This one is like if you look at the Veda base, it is like different. The sloka, the Sanskrit verse, it is Abhyasepi asamartosi. But here you have put Rupam Abhyasepi asamartosi. So that Rupam word is not actually there.
Let me check. Oh yeah. So this Rupam is the extra word that came. Yeah. So somebody copy pasted. I got the slides from like I told already Scon Seshadripura.
Okay,
Let me actually fix that.
one thing.
Good catch. Yeah. Okay, we'll say the verse again then. Abhyasopi asamartosi
Asamartosi.
Samartosi.
matkarma paramo bhava
Matkarma.
Paramo bhava
matartam api karmani
madartamapi karmani
kurvan siddhim avapsyasi.
kurvan siddhim avapsyasi.
Yeah. So basically, if we cannot follow the Bhakti Yoga process, the regulative principles, at least we should help the propagation of Krishna consciousness or any, if not Krishna consciousness, any work that propagates the Bhakti, whoever is devotees, we can help them. Any other realizations or questions or comments? Okay. If not, we will say Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times and close today's session. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Rama 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 Hare Hare.
भगवान श्री कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ऑल ग्लोरीज टू कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा ऑल ग्लोरीज टू वैष्णव डिवोटीज हरे कृष्णा थैंक यू एवरीवन हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
थैंक यू हरे कृष्णा